Hmm. This one basically we are not taking the third unit. We are taking the fourth unit. Okay. The fourth unit is team leadership. I hope you have the syllabus copy with you. Yes or no? In the unit 1, we have studied introduction to leadership very well. Okay. Then in the unit 2, we have studied about leadership traits and ethics. What are ethics? What are the principles of ethics? What does it take for a person to be a ethical leader? How the ethical leader impacts the organization? All those things we have seen in that. Okay. Now, basically, there is a third unit which says about leadership behavior and motivation. Okay, we will not be taking this leadership behavior and motivation because the concepts associated with this is a little bit what it is called it's a little bit too much confusion in understanding. Okay, we will take this, but in the later periods, but not now. Okay, now we will be taking unit 4. Okay, this what I am doing is the we will do 4 units from the prospectus of examination. Okay, to answer in the examination. Those 4 units are unit 1, unit 2, unit 4 and unit 6. Okay, these units are basically very what it is called capsulated and easy to absorb the subject. Okay, and basically all units carry equal marks. All units will have the same weightage from the examination perspective. Okay, so for that purpose, now we will be taking the what it is called team leadership. Okay, I hope probably you might be remembering. I suppose you might be remembering what you have studied with regards to what it is called as a team as such. Okay, this you might have got the similar topic in your organization behavior when you were in the past semester. Okay, there you might have studied what is a group and what is a team and how do they differ, what are the different types of groups and what are the different types of team, how team will be effective, how the team takes the decision. Okay, just to what it is called brush up purpose, we will take the first topic, what how actually teams are useful in organization and basically how the decision making in teams happens. These first 3 topics in this subject, what is called team leadership, are basically partially associated with your it has got a linkage to drag it from the past subject, that is organization behavior. Okay, just to get a little bit deep rooted, what we will do is uh, we will start with the basics of what actually the group is all about, and uh, what the team is, types of team, how the decision happens, and how actually the leadership will impact in these prospectus. Okay, so now coming to the formation, the just for the brief introduction, the first slide says this is a Lingarajappa Engineering College MBA department class for the organizational leadership. Okay, this is about team leadership, that is unit 3. Here we will be covering up to what is the use of teams in organization. Okay, before understanding what is the use of teams, first we should know categorically what a team is all about. Okay, you just don't go by its generic name, team is team. Okay, it is not like that. When you are studying about the team from the prospectus of making an organization effective, how actually it will be there, that's what we will be looking in here. We will be looking what is group, what are the dynamics of group first. So what is a group? What do you mean by group? Huh? as actually written here, group is a collection of two or more individuals, yes or no, interacting and interdependent. Okay, to associate the people into one group, there is a need for them to be interdependent. Okay, they should not be independent of each other. If they are independent of each other, then they cannot be grouped into a group. Okay, if they are interdependent, then only they can be associated to a group. Okay, which have come together to achieve a particular predefined object. If you don't have an objective, okay, even if you are interdependent, if you don't have a common objective, and if you are interdependent from different prospects of life, then basically it is not been called as a group. They can be called as a stragglers from their prospective requirement of the objective accomplishment. So in specific, a group is a collection of two or more individuals interacting and interdependent, okay, which have come together to achieve particular objectives. Okay, so what are the main elements of this group? The main elements are two or more people. One man doesn't make a group. Actually, minimum persons to form a group is two, and it can be more than that. The more than that, the number goes to any number, where as long as that interacting is effective. Okay, effectively the interaction happens. As long as if you can do that within the group, then basically the group formation happens. Okay, next is all these people who are there in that group, 2, 3, 4, 5, any number of people, they will have an identity, and they will be pride to get associated, to say that I belongs to this group. Okay, there is an collective identity for them. Okay, each member knows each other. You should be aware of each other. That member of the group pursues that she is a part of the group. Okay, that collective identity should establish you to the towards the what it is called objective, that is pre selected by you. Okay, next is the other thing for you to be called as a member of a group is there should be an interaction. The channel and medium of interaction between the different peoples who are in the group should be easily accessible, and they can be interacted. This is primary requirement for you to get associated with the group. Okay, the interaction among the members of the group should be channelized, okay, over the task related issue discussion. Each member should be allowed to share his ideas with each other through different communication methods, not just one method, any method that is available. It might be face to face, or it can be through writing, or it can be through telephone, or it can be through a cross computer networks. Okay, any means of channel should be open for them to interact to each other, and they should recognize each other that they are associated with the common collective identity of being a part of a group, and they should have a common purpose. This purpose is nothing but a objective for which they are associated. Okay, like this, technically different types of groups are formulated. Okay, basically within an organization, when we say group, they can be broadly classified into two types. One is formal group, other is informal. Okay, what do you mean by formal and informal groups? That we will see. A group which is basically recognized, okay, or which is being formulated by the very organization itself, okay, then it is called as formal groups. So Groups established by the organization to achieve organizational goals are called formal groups. Okay, because the organization cannot break down the tasks that it is going to accomplish at the individual level. Okay, since it can basically delegate the job into the group level, further delegation happens at the group membership or group leadership level. That's why basically it is been formulated a group to accomplish the goal. What are the formal groups types? Okay, one of the formal group types is command group. Okay, what do you mean by command group? A command group is composed of a supervisor or a manager, okay, and the subordinates who report directly to that manager or supervisor. Okay, this command group is determined by the organizational chart, means department. Say for example, our organization is the department. The people who are there in our department will report to the our organization head itself. They will not report to the another department organization head. Whatever the concerns, whatever the requirements that a member of this command, MBA related command group requires, it should be consolidated by the head of that department itself. Okay, such kind of groups which are structurally formulated by the organization for the effectiveness of the organizational function. Okay, these groups are called command groups. Okay, what the next type of the formal group is task group. A task group generally comprises persons working together to complete a common task. However, a task group can cross command relationships. Okay, say suppose in our college itself we have got what it is called task group. Okay, the task group can be for the purpose of examination. Okay, when examination happens, okay, say suppose if there is a paper from mechanical subject related question paper, the paper is having the examination. Students are coming today to take up an examination of the mechanical subject. Okay, when there is a mechanical subject, is it good enough to put a people from mechanical department itself on exam duty for that purpose? Here the objective is to conduction of the examination. It is a task associated to conduct the examination. Yes or no? Or say suppose, to make you too much specific in that sense, if you say that COVID related task, COVID task force we call it. Okay, it is an task which has evolved because of an epidemic spread. Okay, certain protocol and precautions are need to be taken care for the students who are coming for the examination. Certain conditions needs to be enforced upon them. For that purpose, a task group is created. When this task group is created, they don't have a boundary that they should be only from the MBA department, or they should be only from the mechanical department, or they should be only from the civil department. There is nothing like that. Okay, whosoever is interested or is been assigned with that task formally by the organization need to report to the task leader who is associated with that group. Okay, a task group can cross the command relationship. That's what I am telling. Command relationship is a structural formation of the organization, but task is an interest or emergent oriented group. Okay, this is how a task comes into being. Okay, next is project group. Okay, likewise a task, a project. What is a project? Anybody? See, as we know, this project as such will have a what it is called time limit, resource limit, and basically what it is called as, it is quality oriented. Certain functions needs to be carried out within a limited period, using limited resource, and within a given time. That's why it is been called as a project. Like project groups are formed to complete a specific project. This project and task, it is a slight difference is there. When you say task, it can be an activity. When you say an project, it can be set of tasks can associate to the project. Okay, say suppose a task for us is only COVID is a task. Okay, only supervision is a task, only taking out the printout question paper quality DAPQ is a task. But all these together put together, okay, conduction of exam is a project. Yes or no? That way the project head, okay, will have a, the life of this project group normally coincides with the length of the project. Okay, if the project is bigger, it will take more time. If the project is less, here also what it is called as, the command group doesn't have control over the project group. Okay, see, next is assigning a project to a university professor by the University Grants Commission is an example of the project groups. This assignment can come from the outside the organization also, for the specific specialization of that certain people in that this one. Next is committee. Committees are usually created outside the usual command group, structure to solve recurring problems. If there is some problems which are coming often, again and again within the organization, okay, but it is not coming to only one department, or it is not coming to only one section of the people, or it is not coming to only one level of the management people, it is coming randomly, unassociatedly to anyone else. So how to basically get this into the control? To look into the problems associated with it, the organization takes an initiative for the formulation of these committees to look into that recurring problems. Okay, accordingly the life of the committee may be relatively long or short. We can't say how long the committee will be there. It can be dissolved if the problem is solved then and there. The committee can be put on observation till the next such problem occurs or reoccurs. Okay, this is how it happens. An example, as I said, just committee created to solve a discipline problems relating to the examination. It can be an additional force for helping the examination team to induce a discipline into it. Okay, this is how it's going to work. So these are some of the what it is called formal group types. Okay, they are command group, task group, project group, and committees. Similarly, informal group. Informal group are formulated by the interest of the people in the organization. Say suppose everybody, people who are there, no, in our organization is, there are some people who are interested in cricket, playing cricket. Okay, once they are interested in cricket, they will form a cricket group, or basically you can call it as a sports group. Okay, this is how some people basically get a interest oriented group, they are called. Based upon your interest, you can join any group. Next is reference group. The reference group is something like this. Say suppose people will say for whom to take into this group. Okay, there is a privileged task which needs to be taken care. So people will refer, okay, from our team we will refer XYZ for that group. Such a group is called as reference group. Next is friendship group. If you are having a friends across the command group, if you meet together in a tea, then that group is called as a friendship group. This way, the distinction of different groups takes place in the organization. Now coming to the team. Okay, so what is team? If it is a group is like that, then what is a team? A team comprises a group. Team is also a what it is called as group. Okay, but team has got certain advancement to a group related activities. Okay, when the group gets into a team, that we will be seeing. See, what happens is a team comprises a group of people or animals linked in a common purpose. Even in group also they are linked in a common purpose. In team also they are linked in a common purpose. But teams are specially appropriate for conducting tasks that are highly complex and have many interdependent subtasks. Okay, when the tasks are very simple, if they are routine based, then if you form a set of people to look into those tasks, it is called as a group. On the contrary, if tasks are very complicated, complex, and you need a specialized person to look into the difficulties associated with that kind of tasks, then it is called as team. So team is a set of specialized people, okay, who are having better efficiency, better training in that task related activities. Then it is called as a team. Say suppose do we call football team, we call cricket team, we call, do we call it as a cricket group? No, because in that cricket there will be a specialized people for bowling, there will be a specialized people for wicket keeping, there will be a specialized people for batting, there will be a specialized people for fielding. Okay, so the tasks basically they can, there can be some people who are all rounders also, but as a team they should perform together to be effective and accomplish their superiority when they are in competition with others. Yes or no? Such a group is basically called as, what it is called as, team. What are the different types of team? Okay, see, these types of team is very important from our syllabus perspective. If you look into the syllabus copy, the last topic there is something called as virtual and self-managed teams. Okay, when we look into the types of teams, here basically we have listed 4 types of teams. One is problem solving teams or functional operating teams, we can call them as. Next is self managed teams. Next is cross functional teams. Next is virtual teams. Okay, we will see what these teams are there, okay, in brief now. Okay, but in the next class or in the next class we have to make a study with respect to the leadership associated. See, the team will have a leader. Okay, how this leadership will be within the team? Can someone from outside come and become a leader in the team? No, the member within the team can become a team leader. Yes or no? When he becomes a team leader, is it a permanent post for that guy? No, basically these team leaders will have a rotational leadership associated with it. How this leadership selection happens, what are the characteristics of the team, all those things we will see in brief a little bit of it now. So, as I have said, what it is called as yeah. So, what is this problem solving team then? What will it do? If you look, see, teams were just beginning to grow in popularity, and most of these teams took similar form. Basically, earlier the people did not associate anything with respect to team. They used to call each and everything as a group itself. But around 20 to 30 years before, or you can say 40 years before, okay, this concept of team, of being a specialized group to do certain set of activities together, which needs collaboration and coordination, as well as some kind of skills for that purpose, then the formation of the team came into being. Okay, what happens is, uh, these teams were typically composed of 5 to 12 hourly employees from same departments, who met for few hours each week to discuss the ways of improving the quality, efficiency, and the work environment. When these people were interested in doing the work for better than the routine work, then it is being formulated as problem solving teams. Okay, when you are associated, looking into the problem associated with the daily routine related operations of the organization, then if you try to solve them to make the quality better, efficiency better, work environment better, then such teams are referred to as problem solving teams. Okay, these problem solving teams generally share the ideas or offer suggestion on how work processes and methods can be improved, although they rarely have the authority to unilaterally implement any of their suggested actions. That means the team can suggest, but they can't make the change for themselves. They should be reporting for the suggestions to someone who is a management related man, a manager. Okay, or they can express their feelings to their leader, but leader also will not have the authority to make a changes. He has to report it back to the management, and the management should approve it, where and all there is a consideration for the improvement of cost or reduction of cost or a need of investment, but that activity should lead to the improvement in quality, efficiency, and the work environment. Understood? Similarly, with regards to this self-managed teams, what do you mean by self-managed teams? Self-managed work teams are the group of employees. Okay, generally they might be associating up to, say, typically 10 to 15 people. Okay, who perform highly related or interdependent jobs and take on many of the responsibilities of their former supervisors. So what happened here is, here, as I said in the earlier case, in the what it is called as functional operating teams, okay, there everything should come through the management, that is supervisor or manager will be the final person to make a certain changes to their working activity. But in the self managed, what happens is, these are the people who will take a responsibility of the supervisor for themselves and try to make the work life better. Okay, that is the only thing these people are associated and considered as more responsible in dealing with the situation. Okay, then what happens is, these fully self managed work teams even select their own members. They start selecting their own members and have the members evaluate each other's performance. Okay, as a result, what happens is, supervisory positions take on decreased importance and may even be eliminated. Okay, that is the difference between what it is called as functional operating teams and self-managed teams. In self-managed teams, every final decision to go ahead to make the changes to the group related activities lies in the hands of the supervisor or the manager, whereas in self-managed teams, the members are so much proactive and proficient in their working, in the style of their working. The the what it is called as the supervisory positions take on decreased importance and may even be eliminated. There is no supervisor for that team. There will only be a one guy who will be coordinating from the side of this self-managed work team, who is being called as a leader. So how this happens, how this is going to happen, that, as I said, that fourth last topic in our what it is called, last but one topic, last but one two topics are, that is virtual and self-managed teams, is there the change and role of the leadership in self-managed teams. These two things we will be taking in the later classes. Okay, next is we will again revisit this self-managed work teams. Okay, next, what is this cross-functional teams? Okay, a team can be made up of employees from production, planning, quality, tooling, design, engineering, and information systems to automate a function on a company's special program. Understood? Okay, when that special program related team is formulated, one few guys from the different teams put together, like tasks is associated with these cross-functional teams. Okay, the team's findings may result in drastically reducing cycle time, cost, and improved quality, of the special programs. Such a team is called as cross-functional teams. Next is virtual team. What do you mean by virtual team? See, as we know, organization means there is some physical organization which is associated. There is something called as extended organization. Do you know that? The organization which has got its virtual office in some other country or in some other city, no? That is called as virtual organization or extended organization. That extended organization will have the teams, such kind of organization will have the teams. Such teams are called as virtual teams, who are basically interacting with you over this internet, but they will not be coming to you for face to face work on daily basis. Okay, that's what. The only difference is the above three kinds of teams do their work on face to face, whereas these virtual teams use computer technology to this fourth group, virtual group, use computer technology to tie together physically dispersed members. The members are in different cities, different countries, but still they are part of the same organization. Okay, in order to achieve a common goal. The goal, they allow people to collaborate online using communication links like wide area network, video conferencing, or emails, whether they are only a room away or continents apart. Such a kind of group is referred to as an virtual teams. Okay, virtual teams can do all the things that other teams do: share information, make decisions, complete tasks, and they can include members from the same organization or link an organization's member with employees from other organization, such as suppliers or joint partners. Okay, they can do all these things as you can do from the other kind of teams. Okay, they can convene for a few days to solve a problem, a few months to complete the project, or exist permanently. Hence they are called as virtual team, but they will be doing everything with the computers, with online. Okay, such a teams are referred to as an virtual teams. How this virtual team leadership will be there, how it going to impact, okay, what are all the required constituents about it, that we will take in the last two topics. As I said earlier, we will be revisiting this virtual team also in the later part of the same unit. Okay, so See, what and all we have seen today? We have seen what is a team. Okay, so why should we have a team? What are the different characteristics of the team? Those things we will be looking into now. See, what are the different types of team? Okay, these types of team will have certain impact on the nature and characteristics of the organization also, or the nature of the group or team also. How it is going to affect, that we will be studying in the next class, because if I start it now, probably I will be doing it halfway done. Okay, so we will take this up in the next class. Okay, Mary, any doubts? So this we will take up in the next class. Okay.